Good evening, and thank you for joining us.
Again tonight, the city of Lubbock is adding another city service to the chopping block. Due to budget constraints, they have proposed to cut city bus routes from a 30-minute service at the bus stop to an hour wait between buses.
Now, right now, the Lubbock Transit Advisory Board is holding a public meeting on this issue at the City Bus Plaza on Broadway. KCBD News Channel 11's Christy Post is there. Christy, what's the latest?
Well, Karen and Abner, people are still voicing their opinion. As you can see, there's about a few dozen people here. Some has gone as far as to say the bus service is the worst they've ever seen. Now, before the meeting, they got this ballot to pick which bus service option they would prefer. So if they would like the buses to start on the hour, 15 minutes after, and so on. But still with the choice, many people say they're concerned they will not get to work on time.
I don't know what I'm going to do. I really don't, because I don't know how you get to work without the bus.
Changes to city bus. It's a touchy subject for Kim Daniels because without public transportation, she doesn't have independence.
I don't see well enough to drive, so I have to take the buses everywhere I go, to the doctor, to work.
5 years ago, she says city bus wanted to cut her route completely.
I need Route 5 and Route 6.
Now they want to cut back the running time.
But that means I could be sitting there an hour and I can't be at work.
After 200 ballots, there's a tie between option 1, which is 45 minutes, and option 3, which is on the hour.
That's the proposed times the buses will pick up their customers. John Wilson says he knows the options will not cater to everyone's needs, but with city funds cut by $550,000, they need to cut back. If the routes do change, they project to lose $300,000 in revenue.
We've had a lot of people just really upset about the change.
City bus customer Joe Connors is one of them. He says even right now, the 30-minute service isn't enough.
I've been here since 10 after 10. The bus don't run till 11, and I hate that. I need to be on my schedule because my doctor's appointments are at different times of the day.
He says if the change happens, it could get worse.
And I know there are hundreds and hundreds of other people that depend on the same half-hour run. Because who wants to sit out in the weather for an hour or hour and 5 minutes waiting?
Now the arguments are getting pretty heated, and here's people voice their opinions. There's another public hearing on the 29th at 6 o'clock at City Hall, and if City Council does approve this change, it could take effect as early as October 3rd. Karen and Abner.
All right, thank you, Christy. And earlier this morning, Senator Robert Duncan addressed the Lubbock Chamber of Commerce Board of Directors on the latest developments from the 82nd session of the Texas Legislature. Senator Duncan recapped all that happened in the legislative session, ranging from the purpose of the Rainy Day Fund in Texas to the importance of working with oil and gas companies to help stabilize the economy. Specifically, he praised the Lubbock Independent School District for managing to preserve jobs despite budget cuts.
And they've done a masterful job of maintaining and not laying off teachers. I don't think y'all laid off anybody in the classroom. You made some structural changes and some infrastructure changes that were needed and necessary. You passed a bond election. You've made major strides, and you're at the bottom of the heap on the amount of money you get per student.
Members of the Legislative Affairs Committee and the Transportation Committee were also there at today's meeting.
Lubbock's city manager says the health department will stop immunizations starting next Wednesday.
The City Council will meet to discuss the future of the health department and its services on Thursday. KCBD News Channel 11's Alex Butler spoke with Councilman Paul Bean and brings us more. Alex?
Councilman Paul Bean says the health department may not be in the same building, but the services will still exist. City Manager Leanne Dumbald says the health department will stop immunizations starting August 31st, and Dumbald recently gave a proposal on what will happen to the health department on Friday. Now the future of the health department is in the hands of City Council.
This issue is far from being dead.
Lubbock City Councilman Paul Bean says there is much to discuss this Thursday as the council will meet to talk about City Manager Leanne Dumbald's proposal.
I believe the health department, as we have known it in the past, is going to close.
Dumbald gave her proposal to the Board of Health on Friday as much of the public watched, and the board requested more time.
I'm done. Okay, you're done. So you will not stay at this meeting and answer any more questions?
A heated discussion between Board of Health member Dr. Brian Carr and the city manager led to many angry responses on our Facebook from viewers upset that Leanne wouldn't answer more questions.
That is her job, to make the presentation. It is the job of the elected officials, me, the mayor, the remainder of the Lubbock City Council, to answer the concerns that the taxpayers have. I felt like that in some instances Mrs. Dumball was treated rudely.
Paul Bean attended the Board of Health meeting and says the city of Lubbock will have a health department.
That the city charter requires the city of Lubbock to maintain a health department, and I think we're doing that.
But immunizations are expected to be subcontracted to other clinics, and Dumbald says there will be a gap in immunizations provided by the city between August 31st and September 8th, something Councilman Paul Bean says he will not support.
That gap is 8 days, and I am opposed to having any gap in the city's ability to provide immunizations for our citizens.
Several citizens are already signed up to speak to the city council this Thursday, and Councilman Bean says he will be listening.
And I want them to show up at the next city council meeting, because I understand it is on Thursday's agenda for discussion.
And Councilman Bean says there are two things he is sure of.
Number one, we've got to keep services the same. And number two, if possible, we need to cut expenses. And I think upon the cursory examination of this plan, I think that's exactly what we've been able to do.
Now, there will not be a vote on whether or not the health department remains open because it will be included with the vote on the budget. Councilman Bean says they intend to discuss the city manager's proposal and make suggestions. The city manager has already received 3 proposals back from clinics looking to take over immunizations for the city. And of course, KCBD News Channel 11 will be at the meeting on Thursday. Karen?
All right, thank you, Alex. Abner, remember a couple of weeks ago when we got a couple inches of rain and we're so excited, and it seems like that just is gone, part of our history, and it's not coming back.
Like you don't even remember it.
Like yeah, we've forgotten it already. But John, we sure need another wave like that to move through and bring us a couple of inches again.
I know it would be nice, but chances are kind of slim. We do look for a little bit of a better chance tomorrow, maybe Thursday. Whether or not it's going to be that much or not, it's probably not going to be that much. But at least there's a chance of rain coming back. Let's check that Super Doppler HD3. Folks to our north getting rain. In fact, the watershed around Lake Meredith and Lake Meredith reporting some rain. Some gusty winds moving into Amarillo currently. That is tracking southeast, so possibly it's remote, but there's a chance that might hold together and a couple of those showers try to get into the northern South Plains before they dissipate later on tonight. We can look at that possibility. Here's your temperatures in West Texas. They're still hot. 98 in Lubbock, 102 in Guthrie, 103 in Paducah, 101 in Snyder. Generally in that same pattern, at or above 100 to our east for Lubbock. Another warm evening, mild in the morning, and guess what? Tomorrow, Karen and Abner, it's going to be more of the same.
All right, thank you, John. LP&L and XL customers are being asked to conserve energy until 8 o'clock tonight.
The energy alert was issued by XL this morning, and KCBD News Channel 11's Michael Slaughter has been on the phone with both electric companies, and he joins us now with the latest. So, Michael, why don't you explain the reason for this alert?
Well, Karen and Abner, Excel says they had multiple units down for repairs this morning, and that was the reason they issued that energy alert. But we did get word about an hour ago that the conditions at several of those units were improving. Now, we're at an LP&L plant behind us here, and the LP&L customers have also been asked to cut back on their usage as well. That's because their power ultimately comes from that main Excel grid, so all of that power is really coming from the same place. Both companies were concerned about their customers' usage during those peak times of between 3 and 7 p.m., but that conservation request does last until 8. But Excel just told us that they do plan on having everything back to normal tomorrow. But again, for the next couple of hours, they're asking folks to just make cuts in their energy usage where they can. And we've gotten some tips from Excel on how to do that. We place those online at kcbd.com. But since your computer uses up lots of that power, it may be a good time to go ahead and download that KCBD To Go app for your smartphone so you can cut back on some of your electricity use there as well. We'll bring you all the latest updates online as we get them at kcbd.com. Back to you, Karen and Abner.
All right. Thank you, Michael. The city of Lubbock lost a battle in its ongoing legal campaign against businessman Ted Parker. From 2004 through early 2007, Parker's company, AAG, was the city's health insurance administrator. The city sued the company, claiming that Parker owed taxpayers a refund. He denied ever taking any of the city's money. Parker countersued the city, and there was a series of lawsuits back and forth. Those lawsuits were filed in Lubbock, Dallas, Fort Worth, and Austin. We learned today that the city of Lubbock lost one such lawsuit in Tarrant County. A judge ruled the city cannot hold Ted Parker personally responsible. A source tells us that the ruling could impact the other ongoing lawsuits.
Well, crews are still working on tearing down the old Calvary Baptist Church today. Demolition of the building began last Wednesday. You remember, several residents in the area protested the demolition, claiming the building was an historic site. The church had not officially been deemed an historical site, though, and LISD stands by its decision to tear down the church. They did, however, have the building evaluated beforehand, and both architects and engineers reported crucial parts of the building that were just too far gone to be saved. The demolition is expected to be wrapped up within the next couple of weeks.
A reminder to motorists about road work tonight on I-27. The main lanes of Interstate 27 between 82nd Street and 50th Street will be closed tonight. The I-27 flyover at Loop 289 will also be closed overnight. The project begins at 9 o'clock tonight and should be complete by tomorrow morning at 6.